This is a scam email. It's a phishing email with the pretense that you have a document that you need to review and sign sent to you via DocuSign. But the phishing email kind of sucks. It's pretty bad. You could probably see a whole lot of red flags here coming from a SharePoint contact at edocs.com. SharePoint is not really related to DocuSign. They say it's a secure encrypted message that you've received. If an innocent unknowing victim were to click the button here to view your message and fall for this scam, you'd be presented with this page in your web browser, where you've got a PDF icon, files sent to you are available for download, but you're required to log in with your email address, and once you click next, it will ask you for your password. Now, of course, it's exfiltrating your password. It's trying to deceive the victim and steal the credentials that they might use to get into your account. That's why it's a scam and a phishing email. But how does it all work? Now, let me say, credit where credit is due. This whole story, the sample, really everything in this video is all thanks to another security practitioner, Steve Reagan. This is all from a recent post on his blog. You can find on his website, technicaloutcast.com, but did want to make sure to give him the credit, kudos, props. Thanks so much for letting me showcase this. He was the one that received this phishing email, obviously bogus, but hey, still worth maybe poking at, exploring, trying to understand. And while he was investigating, he saw all those same red flags that we were just discussing, but there was actually a little bit more to it. This ending web page, the site that you end up on as you click the button and fall for the scam, is actually hosted with Firebase. Now, this is pretty common. Obviously, anything that you can just slap up some data, HTML, or a page out on the internet could be used and abused. And Google Firebase makes this really easy. In fact, I want to show you because that's just how quick a threat actor or adversary could spin up a scam. Just in case you're not tracking Firebase, it's like a weird second evil twin or sister of Google Cloud. I guess Google had acquired it way back in, I think, 2014 or something, but I don't know if it was ever going to be really merged into GCP or the Google Cloud platform, but it stayed distinct and on its own and now even added more and more services. But pretty easy to just, again, throw something out on the internet. It's all about serverless. Sorry, I put that in air quotes. I guess it is, but it's what serverless is its own can of worms, right? So if you were at console.firebase.google.com, while you're logged in with your Google account, you can put together a Firebase project. This will actually work the same way as like a Google Cloud project. You'll actually, I think, delete it, for at least from what I've seen, or trying to clean up inside of GCP, more so than this. But if we were to create our own DocuSign stunt, realizing that it's a scam and a phish, but I don't want Google to be too mad at me for temporarily showcasing this with my actual account, we'll spin up just a temporary throwaway project, but now that it is ready to work with, hey, we could go ahead and actually add in anything that we could want to do. Whether it's hosting a full stack application, whether it's just doing simple static file hosting, or just adding stuff to essentially a bucket out on the internet. Hey, something that's just externally accessible, but at least used for file storage. That is exactly what we're up against when the DocuSign phishing scam came to life. This does require project billing, so at least I don't know if the adversary just tried to tack on any payment, any funds for this thing, but I don't know if that's a speed bump for anyone spinning up scams like this. I've enabled billing just so we could kind of keep cruising, but if we were to get started creating storage, we could put it in whatever location or basically all of them. I'm fine with that, just so it's accessible all over the world. It doesn't really need to be in production mode or test mode. This is just for showcase, demo, letting you see the cooking show magic. So I'm gonna be fine with test mode. Let me click create. If anyone is following along, I've seen this be really weird. It'll error out when trying to create it the first time and then spin infinitely trying to create it the second time. And then the third time, I guess third time's the charm, it finally actually succeeds. Maybe that's just me. I don't know if it's stuff going on right now, but if we could simply, easily upload a file and get it out on the internet. Like if I were to open up a text editor and then just write like, wait a second, before we go any further, please let me show you some really cool stuff from the sponsor of today's video. Let me show you Feedly and their TTP dashboard. You can see what adversaries are doing, where and when, and ultimately how. What used to take hours of manual research before, you can now do in just a few minutes. It uses natural language processing to carve up articles, extract and enrich all the insights into their real-time threat graph. The dashboard distills those TTPs using AI collectively across all of the threat intel reports processed by Feedly. By default, you can see all the different MITRE attack framework techniques that are trending over specific periods of time. You can sort the table or filter to track specific malware families, threat actors, targeted platforms, or even specific industry sectors or geographic countries. As you narrow down what you're looking for within the TTP dashboard, you can also open up the whole view in MITRE Attack Navigator. And if you right-click on any of the techniques, you can go directly to any of the articles right back in Feedly. But the best part is, you can get the big picture view across all articles. What are the exact procedures that are being leveraged by a threat actor? So you can drill down on a specific technique, see the procedures, and still get a holistic view as to how the real tradecraft is described in each and every article. That is super cool. So look, if you are a cyber threat intelligence analyst tracking threats against your industry, Feedly's TTP dashboard is a phenomenal springboard and jumping off point for research. Or if you're an incident responder and you're seeing all these different kinds of techniques used in attacks, you can use them as filters and see potentially what threat actors could be responsible. Personally, I love to use it for news material, video content, and threat hunting. And of course, you can export to CSV, PDF, or ingest directly 95% of what you see in your systems with Feedly's API. If you ask me, Feedly's TTP dashboard is genuinely super cool because it is an all-in-one place, literally a one-stop shop for tracking threat actors and capturing tactical cyber threat intelligence. But see it for yourself. Check out Feedly's TTP dashboard, and you can get started with the free trial today with the link below in the video description, jh.live/Feedly. Upload a file and get it out on the internet. Like if I were to open up a text editor and then just write like whatever we wanted, stupid, hey, we are on the internet. Thanks for the free HTTPS and serverless instance. We could save that. Literally call this thing index.html so that it is HTML code, and we'll eventually put HTML code for real here, but that way it's just rendered by your web browser when you visit this page online. So literally in Firebase, we just click upload file, choose our index.html, upload that. And now if I take a look at it, it is out and accessible. I could click this link and it'll take me to, hey, we're on the internet. Thanks for the free HTTPS and the serverless instance. Take a look at this URL here. We're at the firebasestorage.googleapis.com/v0b and then the project name, DocuSign Stunt, Firebase Storage index.html. This is exactly the same URL that Steve saw when he got this real phishing email. In fact, he wanted to take a closer look at it, so he was using the tool URL Scan, urlscan.io, which is phenomenal and incredible for actually being able to see some of the websites or HTTP responses that anyone might observe for threat intelligence, tracking malware threat actors. When I reached out to Steve to ask for his permission and get his blessing to be able to share his blog and his write-up, he said, yeah, absolutely. And then he said, look, actually, I can let you know what the URL scan link actually is for that sample if you want to dig into it. So heck yeah, thank you so much, seriously. So this is the result for the real sample that originally came from t.co, like the short link redirector for Twitter or X, and that ends up bringing you to the URL that we just saw when we were trying to recreate it, Firebase Storage, googleapis.com, project name, blah, blah, blah. URL scan tells us this is potentially malicious with one community verdict and one vote, likely Steve. I don't know for sure, but hey, we could follow through and actually see all of the HTTP requests when we click on that HTTP tab. We can see the original Twitter link that was provided, and then if we wanted to, we could actually see the data. Like, show response here, this is the HTML that would just mean, okay, do the redirect, URL bringing you to the Firebase Storage actual lure for the scam and phishing engineer. Following after that, in the HTTP responses, of course, we land at that Firebase URL and that index.html. we can take a look at the HTML code that makes that up. And this is a little bit interesting because this does not really look like what we would have seen when we saw, oh, that PDF icon in the prompt for enter your email, enter your password, right? But it does link some client-side code with these JavaScript files coming from a .ro domain with a WP-includes, which makes me feel like it's a WordPress server that could very well have been compromised. Maybe they're using whatever WordPress site that, hey, a threat actor or hacker has already gained access to and controls, so that will be a springboard to host more malware for other victims. But if we take a look at those client-side JavaScript files, jQuery is nothing fancy. It's real, actual, legitimate, genuine jQuery library. But basic.js is a little bit interesting. We can take a look at that one. This ends up using jQuery with the usual boilerplate, hey, when the document is ready, call this function called savefile. And savefile, presumably with arguments that aren't passed, will take a look, if it could save a blob. And it ends up adding a anchor tag, an a HTML element, with a variable encoded string A to B, which looks like base 64. All that encoding, and there is, oh my goodness, a lot of it. You could probably see the horizontal scroll bar down at the very bottom of my screen. Bringing this all the way to the end. Yeah, okay, the two equal signs, padding, gonna probably clue us in. This is base 64, and hence the name ATOB. That's that client-side JavaScript base 64 decoding function. Of course, they decode it and then build out a binary blob. Ooh. Make this as a URL, actually append it as an href attribute, and then put it on the body of the web page, clicking it so that it will end up displaying and actually acting as a blob, but rendering HTML all in your web browser. This is really what Steve thought was interesting and he wrote about in his blog post. And I would agree, I think this is kind of pretty neat. You're looking at a blob in the address bar. Blob : HTTPS : Firebase URL, whatever. They're actually a URI scheme to access local API generated data, binary large objects, or just blobs, used for images or downloads of whatever. But you don't often see it as a phishing scam. Using blobs helps the attacker remain undetected longer because oftentimes scanning will just miss that blob-based rendering. Not all of them, but probably a decent amount. It's at least one clever trick to have something else up your sleeve and trying to hide, mask, or obscure what would be malware, phishing payload, a lure, and a scam. We've actually covered blobs before, or at least just referenced them in a video when we were talking about the HTTP smuggling, but also sometimes called drive-by download, which, I don't know, you call it whatever you want, right? But it's just ending up being able to smuggle and force a download thanks to a blob being clicked on just like this. Except rather than giving you a binary file to download, in this case it's giving you HTML to literally render a whole new page. So what's to stop us from trying to make this our own index.html, right? Put this back on Firebase where we actually have a staged little handler here. We need to make this a real document, right? So actually, let's try to maybe piece together the actual payload from all the breadcrumbs that we have here using this HTML, but actually putting the JavaScript little placeholders for reaching this externally with the just totally inline JavaScript that we can put in place here. We'll copy everything that we have for the actual trigger, and we'll get jQuery in just a second just as well. I know that's kind of dumb, but that's a quick and easy way for me to be able to show you all this in one file. We'll replace the jQuery one with this, and now we have the index.html essentially used in the real phishing scam. So if I go back to Firebase and please, pretty please, Google, I hope you're okay with me, just momentarily, temporary, literally just a couple seconds, uploading the phishing scam on my account. Forgive me. Is that okay? Google, can you please forgive me? Because when we go to it, we get the real thing. And if I were to try and enter an email address as if I were falling for this scam, it'll ask for my password, fake.com, and tell me that it's incorrect. Please try again. And you could maybe, I don't know, try your password over and over and over again. You're just giving it to the hacker. But really, take a closer look at this URL bar. It is blob:"the page. But the actual password stealing work comes from the new rendered page, right? Which is the decoded content of all this base64 nonsense. So let's take a look at what that actually is. Let me try to copy this entire thing and we can go decode this. We can keep it easy, just use CyberChef from base64 decoding. We have all this output that I'll go bring into our text editor. And this is what we're looking at. Not the original title at the top, which would have been just login, but instead the scam secure file access. A lot of inline CSS, probably just to make it pretty, look like, add that Microsoft logo at the top left, and get the Adobe PDF, weird stuff in there. Files sent to you are available for download. You are required to log in with the JavaScript actually handling the email submit button, and then the password section that becomes visible just after, asking for a password with the handle password submit function there. Then it will always tell you, no matter what, the error message, your email address password is incorrect. Please try again. But the script here, the actual JavaScript client-side code tells us, it'll maybe even try to autofill email if it were provided in any of the URL parameters, if this were used in other campaigns. I don't know if it did for Steve or anyone that might have actually seen this. Handle email submit is what's actually going to end up now swapping and recreating what would be the password input after you've just entered the email input. On the handle password submit, it'll grab the value that you just provided in those input boxes and then call the function send email password to Telegram. Hilariously, if you attempt your password more than 4 times, it will put you at Google. The send email password to Telegram actually tells us, though, that it'll just do an XMR or an XML HTTP request posting to this domain, gocatgo.net. WP includes, so again, probably a compromised WordPress, send.php. Coded by plus for education purpose only. Obviously including the actual password all encoded for that. The question is this thing still live? Can we go take a look at gocatgo.net? GoCatGo. Yeah, that's still up right now. Pete's Rod Shop. This is I'm getting mixed signals here. These are conflicting messages. But no, that's like a thing. Is that page alive? Send.php? It's returning a 200, right? Obviously, an inspect element's going to tell us, yeah, I mean, it's realsies. Send.php isn't going to do anything because it's the server-side code when you were posting messages. So if you really wanted to send them a little bit of extra, you could. So look, that is the end of the story, really. But I thought there were a couple neat things in here. You've got the DocuSign phishing emails that are happening a lot. Normally they look better than this, right? Firebase hosting of even just a bucket, like a storage, simple HTML index with just client-side code in there, but it's hiding, or at least masking, with another little tiny step to do a blob. You don't see that often, or at least I haven't seen that often. I don't know about you. Let me know in the comment section below. URL scan is really what saved the day because we're able to kind of see that all in retrospect. But look, ultimately, I think there are some lessons learned here, because if you were to land on this, Steve really makes the good point. Password manager would be good in this scenario, because while that website doesn't look legit whatsoever, the autofill from an online digital password manager wouldn't work. It wouldn't trigger or activate on those blob pages. But neat thing. Cool. I hope that was educational for you. Thank you so much for watching. Seriously though, big thank you, huge kudos, props, credit where credit is due. Steve Reagan, really, this is his finding, the email that he saw. This video would not have been able to be done without him kind of letting me showcase it. So genuinely, thank you. I'll link his blog in the video description, technicaloutcast.com. And if you are willing to maybe do a humble favor for me, take a look at justhackingtraining.com. It's a new training venture that I'm trying to put together with courses, exercises, lab environments, all the great stuff to learn more cybersecurity. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm up to, please do join the newsletter, which I'm very excited to have up and running now. There are all links to those in the video description. Please give some love to our sponsors, do all those YouTube algorithm things, like, comment, subscribe, and that's the end of the outro and the video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.